on Australia's business channel. This is Mediaweek.
Hello, welcome to the program. Ahead, the latest TV ad revenue numbers, executive moves at 10 and National Geographic Channel, and is the late night chat show about to make a resurgence in Australia. But first, the ABC's Australia network will be able to show its content to Chinese broadcasters in what's been hailed as a breakthrough in communications between Australia and our major trading partner. But this win comes amid reports the ABC's budget could be cut by $20 million in next month's budget. Let's get all the details. Our co-host James Manning, editor and publisher of Mediaweek, is here. James, good to see you.
Righty.
Just firstly, what are the details of this deal for Australia Network in China?
Yeah, well, it's sort of linked to Australia Network, but it's not really going to help Australia Network get into our Chinese homes, if you like. But they'll be offering programs that are screened on the Australia Network and I think some other ABC content, perhaps it's not, to Chinese broadcasters. So they'll be setting up an online portal, if you like, a commercial website. I think is how it'll work, where Chinese broadcasters can look at the content and go, OK, we'd like to get that. Then they can negotiate with the ABC on how they'll do that. The ABC will be setting up an office in Shanghai to sort of facilitate that those opportunities for the broadcasters over there. It's in partnership with the Shanghai Media Group. Back when we had the China-Australia Forum, I think it must be about 3 years ago, when Sky News was over and we spoke to some people from the business about, opening up to a dialogue, if you like, between Australia and New Zealand. So it's good to see there's been a development since then.
Yeah, and I mean, how significant is it? I mean, what kind of a win is this?
Yeah, I think it's a good win. It remains to be seen how it plays out. I mean, the deal still hasn't been signed, but it's all been agreed to. It's happening, I think, on May 4, as you mentioned, just before the ABC budget. But look, there's already been a lot of work being done in China between Australian TV production houses. There's been quite a lot of co-productions. There's been groups going over and visiting, working out how they could help out. So there's stuff happening, and it's good to see this is another step in that direction of really opening up the market.
Just on some other news out of ABC, iView giving viewers the chance to preview the new Chris Lilly series. Yeah,
it's something that putting it all up there before it goes, if you like, to traditional TV. People who want to watch and download can do so the weekend before. Channel 9 did it with the recent series, was that Love on Monday nights, that the Australian drama with Playmaker Media. They did that quite successfully, built up some interest. The show performed really well for 9, and they're going to be doing that for the Chris Lilly. I think it's only up for the weekend, so you've just got a small window you can do it, but it'll really help generate buzz. It'll be all over Twitter. People will be trying to, who'll be first to finish all the episodes, stuff like that. Generates lots of conversation, and it should actually help the ratings when they release it on the following, I think it'll be over a 6-week period.
Just on TV as well, SMI has released the latest media agency ad revenue numbers for free-to-air for March.
Yes.
We've got a graphic just to show.
Yep, OK, yeah, look, it's just repeating the sort of pattern we've seen over the last year, probably last couple of years. 7's been in front there. They've got a share, look, just over 41%. 9 actually lifted a little bit in March from their February figure, 37.8. 10 went back. They did some better business in February thanks to the, I think, the end of the cricket, and it was the Winter Olympics, of course, gave them a bit of a boost, but they've fallen back a bit. But look, we can expect to see that the rest of the year. 7 and 9 jostling up around that 40% mark, and 10 trying their best to stay above 20%.
There's been some management moves, executive moves as well. US National Geographic Channel, what's happened there?
Yeah, look, a couple of Aussies there. David Lyle, these are both former executives from Channel 9 who ended up going to work in the US for part of originally what was News Corporation. When that split, those divisions became, I think, 21st Century Fox. So David Lyle has been running the National Geographic Channel there for a while out of Washington. He's left the organisation. For the first time for a while, he hasn't worked for Rupert Murdoch, I think, and he's told his colleagues, look, he's moving back to LA. He's been involved in the TV business in Los Angeles for a long time. The other one is David Hill, the ex-9 Sports Supremo, went to the US a long time ago, and he works on lots of divisions of the TV business. He's been associated with Fox Sports in the US for a long time. He's been, I think, on the board of National Geographic. Now he's taking the chairman's role there. But it's interesting. I think the channel's been working quite well, National Geographic. David Lyle said this, look, the record profits, which makes it a little bit hard to understand why these changes are happening. So there's maybe a bit more to come on that.
Yeah, something to watch. Just at 10 too, quite a significant departure as well with sales executive Kylie Rogers leaving after.
Kylie Rogers, look,
nearly
long
2
time
decades.
at 10, about 17 years she worked there with Grant Blackley back in when he was running it and when he was the sales director. Knew the company pretty much inside out. She sort of moved sideways, if you like, probably last year to run Generate, their division, cross-platform sales, content creation, integration division, does a little bit of everything. She's leaving the business, and Melissa Fain has been promoted there to take over from her in Generate.
Just staying with 10, because there's been talk that Mark and Carl Fennessy are in discussions with 10 about a new joint venture.
Yeah, look, I think if that is happening, it's very early days, I think. There probably have been some talks, but I think Mark and Carl are both signed up, contracted to Shine, I think through till the middle of next year, which is like 15 months away or something. So if there's anything going to happen, it'll be a while yet. They used to have some equity in Shine, but I think that they probably got bought out when News Corp took over the company. I think they got 100% control.
Changes too at the Bauer Media and Hearst joint venture as well, with the long-time publisher leaving. Yeah,
Peter Holder, he's been at just over a decade. He was at Bauer Media during his time there. Look, he published most of the magazines in the group, everything from Rolling Stone. He launched one of the men's magazines. And, TV Week, lots of different magazines he was associated with. His last time there was as the publisher for the Hearst titles. The big deal there last year was the launch of Elle magazine. Look, Bauer say it's going pretty well, They've got, I think, initial circulation figure around 60,000. It's up in the ballpark with the other, the competitors, so it's not bad. So, look, he hasn't sort of revealed what he's going to do next, but he could be moving into a different media sphere, so we'll report on that if and when it happens.
We will watch and wait. Good news for newspaper publishers with total readership up, but still that drop in print we've been seeing and the surge in digital being shown.
Again, this is something else we've been tracking for over the years, isn't it? That the total readership numbers are good for newspapers, but their problem is the print figures go down. They still generate most of their income from print readership. But it's interesting, the total readership goes up when most papers are behind a paywall these days. So I guess it's encouraging financially for them if the increase in readership means they're selling a few more subscriptions, and they'll gradually work out how to monetise it for advertisers, that increasing audience.
Just some interesting research too from Nielsen on what consumers are prepared to do when it comes to apps.
Yeah, as part of our new research, I think Nielsen are calling it Nielsen Application Market Intelligence. They're doing this with the online community in conjunction with the IAB. We'll hear a little bit more about it this year, but they've examined, I think, an app that carsales.com.au put out to market, and people use it to, look for a new car, basically, and it's very successful, of course, carsales.com.au. They've found out that 57% of all users of the app are either using it by mobile or a tablet, so a mobile device. So it's a massive market, that mobile audience, and we'll get to learn a little bit more about it this year.
Last one to ask you about James Manning from Mediaweek. Plenty more from him in just a moment. Let's now check on the media sector's performance on the share market. We're joined by Chris Weston, IG Chief Market Strategist. Chris, great to see you as always. Some big media names in the US reporting this week, among them Yahoo and Google.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Google's one that's done very, very well over, the last 12 months, and I think that's a secret of its own success, that, so much was being built into this. But, we saw a slight miss to their earnings per share. There's some growth there, but it missed by about 3%. Their revenue numbers weren't particularly brilliant against expectations. I think we've just seen a little bit of profit-taking in the after hours. We'd expect that to probably be down, say, 3% overnight. But, I mean, since 2011, you're looking at a company that has really tried to build up its mobile ad technology and really try and reach out to the emerging market space. And that's working to a degree, but probably not to the same sort of degree that the market was looking for in terms of their revenue numbers outside of the US, it's great, making about 57% of their revenue outside of the US. So that's really what the market's been focusing, but the actual cost or cash per click was down around 9%, which was no real change from Q4, but the market had been expecting to see some improvement. So good numbers, just market's expecting a bit more. The Yahoo numbers, though, were really, really strong. I mean, these guys have beaten earnings per share for the last 8 quarters in a row. 2% revenue growth from these companies. But I think the interesting thing that we look at Yahoo, it has been a proxy for Alibaba in China. They're in 24% stake, but Marissa Mayer One of my favourite CEOs there talking about selling 40% of their stake afterwards. So that's the thing that traders are looking at. How does this company look like once they start selling down their Alibaba stake? Because the core company isn't growing particularly strongly, and Alibaba has contributed significantly to their bottom line there. So good numbers.
Just here at home on the Aussie share market, how's the online media companies been recovering from the recent pullback?
Yeah, they've done well, actually. I mean, we've been saying to clients that these are really quality businesses. They're very different from what we saw from the Nasdaq biotech space. I mean, look at a company like Seek. We've got 24% return on capital. You've got free cash flow per share growth of about 87%. And you've actually got top-line growth expected to be around about 20% as well. So we knew that after about a 20% pullback in Seek that we were going to get a nice bounce. People were going to look to come in. It's still trading on a price-earnings multiple against the 5-year average, but we're seeing better days there. We're seeing better days in real estate, and we're starting to see some buying coming in the likes of car sales after about a 20% decline as well. So very different beasts from what we're seeing in the Nasdaq. But, you know, these are really quality business. They just need to be bought at the right price here.
Chris, as always, thanks so much for that.
Thanks a lot.
Chris Weston there from IG. Stay with us. Coming up on Media Week, a frank call for Australia's free-to-air and subscription TV players to work together on pushing a single voice for TV advertising. That's up next.